Hello. No countdown today. 10. Oh, we can do it this way. Let's do it this way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open the door. And who do you get? Remain calm's in the house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Girl, it's a little chilly today. I thought it was nice out. I was like, oh, I'm going to go touch the grass. I'm going to feel the warm air. I'm going to feel the sun on my face. No, flipping cold. Dang it, son. Why you lying to us today, son? Okay. Well, we have, gosh, girls, who we got? We have Teresa Jones, island girl. I want to be an island girl. I want to go lay on the beach, drink margaritas, 420 it with Poppy in her red Mustang. Island girl. Sassy and Lisa Boo. Okay. I know you are not that Lisa. Okay, girl. I know you're not that Lisa. I already know it. But thanks for reminding me. Thank you very much. Wee Scottish mom. Thanks for being here, girl. I don't know what time it is for you, but thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. So today, we're just going to talk about a little bit of everything. Okay? Today is going to be a day of, hey, remain calm. Pull this up. Hey, remain calm. What do you think about this? Hey, remain calm. Hey, remain calm. Hey, remain calm. You know what I mean? Okay, so welcome to my channel, everybody. I commentate. If you get a little education, that's a thumbs up. If you are entertained, okay, dang, it's dinner time there, girl. Lord. You know, some of this stuff, let me say this. I do not know how some content can be entertaining. I ain't figured that out yet. Ooh, you and your husband's hiding in the corner? Girl, don't you tell us what you're doing in that corner. You hear me? We don't want to know. I don't want to know what you're doing in that corner. All right? I'm just saying. Oh, thank you, Teresa. You're so sweet. Teresa is so sweet. Okay, so let's just get started. Okay. So, there is a channel that's called Cluminati. And I kind of like her. But that cat is in the house. That cat attacked me yesterday. I have battle scars. Oh, y'all can't see them. Anywho, he was like a freaking vampire. He freaking got me really good. I'm like, stop. Oh, wait a minute. Who is sending me? Okay, wait. Who the heck is that? Is everything okay with you guys? I texted Charles the other day and he never got with me. Well, because Charles ain't here. Let me text him back. Well, because Charles ain't here. Because Charles ain't here. Because Charles ain't here. Sorry. Because Charles ain't here. Very sorry. Sorry, lady or guy. Okay. Well, because Charles ain't here. You can't text me and ask me about Charles. I don't know Charles. I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right. Okay? I do. All right. Hey, Cat's Eye. Mm-hmm. My cat's been skittish since the eclipse. My cat's just a freaking asshole, Lisa. Lisa Boo, my cat is a pure psychotic asshole. All right? It doesn't matter how sweet you are to him. It doesn't. So, anywho, Cluminati has been covering the Sebastian Rogers case. I like her coverage. My kind of chick, I'm telling you. So, okay. Hey, Miss Justice. So, Trab Time decided he was going to mess with her. I mean, you don't mess with women, Trab. I know that, you're Justin's boo and all. I know that you're his bae. But, honey, you don't mess with a girl. Okay, so let's listen to this. I haven't got to watch the whole thing. Okay. You're like me. You got the broke one. My doggy is broke. It's getting better. My cat is a noob sitter. Makes it hard to chat. My cat, my favorite cat, not saying I got favorites, but my cat Simba, she's so beautiful. She's long-haired calico, and she's the oldest. Mm-hmm. She my girl. She is. She's a bitch. She is a bitch. She won't come in here and let people see her, though. Okay, so let's hear what Cluminati had to say to Trab Time for messing with her.
This smart gel don't come with no jealousy. Ugh, my illness don't come with no remedy. You can't talk no shit without penalties. Bitch, I'll make your shit if you suffer me. Give me the chance and I'll go there.
That's hilarious.
Outside, I'll be glad to.
What are you doing?
Responding.
Where are you going?
Outside. That's what he said.
With a gun? All right.
She's hilarious.
Bye-bye.
That is funny. Trav, why you gotta mess with the big dogs? You're a little puppy. You're a little puppy. And you're messing with the big dogs. I'm just saying. Trav. That was pretty funny. I liked when she had you dancing in the diaper. I can't help it. There's Trav in his diaper. Now, see, Trav always, I've never paid any attention to Trav. Okay, Trevor. And, when he came out, he was the big savior in Summer's case, and he was keeping the information out there. He was doing a good thing. Okay, he was doing a good thing. Now, I'm gonna show something, and don't go show Trevor any hate. But I always, in the beginning of Summer's case, and I believe this is dated like July 1st. Okay. Now, I don't personally know when Trevor, okay. It's something, and okay. Pledge and donate are two different things, okay? Two different things. I could say, oh my gosh, I'm going to pledge $1 million to Teresa Jones. And Teresa could be sitting there going, hey, bitch, I need that $1 million. And I'm like, no, I just pledged it. Okay? We'll talk about donating it later. Okay? If I would have said, I am donating $1 million to Teresa Jones, then Teresa would be like, Remain Calm gave me $1 million. She's the nicest person in the world. Oh, quit it, Teresa. I'm just being hypothetical. Teresa. Girl, if I had $1 million to blow and I gave it to you, your ass would take it. Don't even try it. Don't try it. I don't even know anybody. Well, I do know somebody with $1 million, but don't make no freaking difference. It ain't in my pocket, I'll tell you that. Okay, so now this was done. This is a WVLT News report that was done on July 1st of 2021. Now, I just want you to listen, okay? This is about Summer's Reward Fund. Summer Moon Utah Wells went missing June 15th of 2021. This was streamed live on July 1st. July 1st. That would have been what, 2 weeks or so after Summer went missing. I do not personally know, and I ain't going to check to see when he said he donated or pledged that money. Because somewhere in my mind, and I could be wrong, okay? Don't go showing Trev no hate. I don't know exactly when he came out and stated that he gave $2,000 to Summer's Reward Fund. I don't know when he said that. Now, if it was after July 1st, it's all good in the hood. So let's hear about these donators, pledgers.
LT News rate on the search for Summer Wells, and more specifically, the amount of money that has been contributed to a reward fund to generate tips about her whereabouts and to help find the little girl who is still at the center of an Amber Alert more than 2 weeks after she disappeared from presumably her family home in Hawkins County in East Tennessee. This is a little girl we're talking about, Summer Wells, 5 years old. We're hearing from search crews who set up
Why do people use that picture? Why do y'all use that picture? I don't like that picture. Flies. I don't like this picture. I don't. I hear the train a-coming. It's rolling round the bend. Trains get on my nerves. Okay.
bank account where people can donate money for a reward fund, that just $250 are in that account, considerably low considering two other donors who came forward and said they were going to commit thousands of dollars. So we're learning.
Now they did, two individuals did have, one individual sent a very large check to the news organization, Kingsport Times or something. And they were like, sir, you got to come and get this check. There's nothing we can do with it here. You have to take it somewhere else. Now, if I can remember correctly, the two high donors were like, we're going to keep our money. And if someone does come out with information helping to find this little girl, then we will give them that money, right? And like I said, you can donate money to a reward fund and you can specify, you can say, I'm going to donate this $20,000, but if this person is not found within a certain amount of time, I want that money back. Okay? You can do that, people. I'm just saying. For real.
Learning a little bit more about why the amount is so low and how we're accounting for those big checks that were promised by two other donors. If you'll remember, somebody sent a $20,000 check to a newspaper in Kingsport. The newspaper said we can't do anything with this. You need to come pick up your check and give it to the appropriate authorities. That person came and picked up the check, and it's unclear the status of that money. Do they intend to donate the money if a legitimate tip comes in that leads to the discovery of Summer? It's unknown. Our crews have repeatedly gone to the home of the person who wrote that initial $20,000 check, have been unable to make contact with that person.
So, a person out of the kindness of their heart writes a $20,000 check, and because of where they sent it, they were like, you got to come pick it up. So the news is like, let's go and pound on that. Where's that money? What did you do with your own $20,000? Okay. What was the anniversary? Did I miss something? Karen with a C. Okay. All right. Moving on. And I commentate. If you get a little education, that's a thumbs up. Okay.
There was also a $10,000 check that was written by a donor. And we've learned through the search team that has set up this fund that that person has decided to sit on that check
Heck yeah.
and hand it over once a legitimate tip comes through that leads to the discovery of Summer Wells. So that leaves $250 that have been contributed to this fund.
$250 at that time. $250 was what was in there. Okay, now listen to this.
We also did a story last week where we told you about a teenager who goes to ET.
Last week. Okay, so this was July 1st. If they're saying last week, that would have been the end of June, right? That would have been the end of June. Okay.
We told you about
25 years. Boy, that's like me and Todd. We've been together for so many years. It's like I couldn't tell you how long. You had 11 in your first marriage? That's really good, Teresa. That means you're a keeper. You're a keeper, Teresa. Have you ever heard it's cheaper to keep her? 28 years. Woo, girl. Okay, everybody listen. Listen to this, and then I'm going to ask you, class, kind of what your opinion is on it. Okay? I don't need for anybody to come in here and go, I love Trevor. Okay? You can love him all you want. Okay? Nothing to do with me. All right? You cannot like Trevor. I don't care. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just showing you this. All right, here we go.
We also did a story last week where we told you about a teenager who goes to ETSU. And that teenager told us he donated $2,000. So Sam...
He donated $2,000. He told them a week before this, he donated $2,000. It's right there, okay? Now, I want y'all to listen. Listen, class, damn it. You can 422, okay? Here we go.
He donated $2,000. So Sam Luther, our reporter who has been covering that angle to the story, reached out to that teenager last night, heard back from him today. He says that he actually deposited that check this morning into...
Yes, Trevor gave the $2,000. Hello, Stephen. He did give the $2,000. That's not the point. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? A week before that, he donated. There's a difference between pledge and donate. Squeezy Mc... Oh... Yeah, I feel bad for you, Flies. All right, I'm going to play it one more time because I can, and I'm like that.
He says that he actually deposited that check this morning into that reward fund. So we are circling back with the search crew that is operating that fund to confirm that the money is now in the bank account. So that clears up a little bit of why there isn't more money in that account. We're also learning more about the search.
More than
We're gonna
100
take you
agencies.
over the scene here and just give you an idea why it was such a difficult search for crews. You can see the mountainous rural area around Summer Wells' home that they had to comb through. We know now that search crews have scaled back their efforts considerably. And we're also hearing from a man who was part of that search effort. We long heard, you know what, within 2 days, we usually find the person that we're looking for. Unfortunately, that is not the case here.
That is very true. I wasn't going to go into all of that. So, class, let me ask you, what did you learn from what I just showed you? Don't overthink it. It's very easy. What is the lesson? I'll give you a moment to think about it. What is the lesson? There is what? There is a difference between pledge and donate. Okay? A difference between pledge and donate. For real. Hold on, I'm looking at something. Okay. I was just checking something out there, y'all. Okay, so anywho, don't give money to GoFundMe's. Donate is give, pledge is later. Thank you, class. See, and nobody even said anything bad about Trev. Nobody really gave their opinion on him as an individual. We just took that to be a lesson that, words are, you got to be very careful with certain things you say. Because if you say you donated, it is expected to be there. Okay. And, hey, he was a college kid. He gave $2,000 out of his own money, and I commend him for that. Okay? I do. But Justin's given him some lessons on the YouTube streets, if you ask me, on YouTube. Justin, he took Molly Golightly classes. Justin did. He took Molly Golightly classes. Okay? Justin's pretty good about what he does. He really is. And he's pretty too. He's pretty. I think Justin's pretty. But anywho, he been teaching these bae, he been teaching these bae how to run that YouTube stuff. I'm jelly. I'm so jelly. No, I'm not really jelly. I am thick. I'm not jelly. I pledged allegiance to my dog. I pledged the allegiance to my dog who lives in the United States of America. To feed him, to love him, to let him go out, enjoy the grass, treat him nice so he don't pee in my house. Right? Okay, gosh, here we go. Kim is back. Kim of cracking asses cases, Okay. I need to start that at the beginning. Hold on.
What God has in store for us and our family and our kids. And I hope God has something wonderful in store for you guys as well. Love you. Keep on cracking. God bless. Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to come
What's
to
up,
you
Kim?
short from my new job.
From his new... What the fuck is his job? What, is he driving something? Kim, okay, I'm not going to say that you're doing anything, but you got them googly eyes again. You got them googly eyes again, man. For real. For real. Okay. Yes, Karen. You're way behind, Karen. The train passed by maybe 10 minutes ago. So you're behind, girl. But it's okay. It's all good in the hood.
Everything's looking up and everything's going well. I'm trying to make time to come back on the channel. Thank you all so much for the support and the kind words. Me and Allie greatly appreciate it. I think everything's going to be okay. But our channel's going to...
And let me say this, you guys. I do hope everything's okay with Cam and Allie. And this is just my opinion, and I'm sure people's not going to agree with me. I don't think that it would be a good idea for Cam and Allie to come back to their channel right now. That's just my opinion. I think that they need to work on themselves. They need to get their children back. They need to take that quality time and get their family right. Get their family back on track. And, but that's just the way I feel. That's just me. Okay. I do know that, them coming back on social media, will help, with maybe income or something, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I would rather see them do content that's maybe a little different. I know that they know a lot about the Summer Wells case, and there's nothing wrong with talking about that stuff. I mean, they inserted themselves into Summer's case. So, they have just as much as right to talk about it than anybody else. But I think that the environment around with them around that case was not a healthy environment. You guys get what I'm saying? And we have seen them look their worst. Last time, and I showed it, I'm not going to show it again. Hey, Susan, where Cam basically had Allie get on camera, and she looked horrible. She looked really bad. I was kind of afraid for her myself. Hey, Katie Ann.
I'm going to be back. I'm just getting everything ready and trying to get a new home established, and if we can find one. I think everything's going to work out in the way God wants it to. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for the support and never turning your back on us. You keep on cracking. And remember, Cam and Allie love you guys, and we just ask that you pray for us and we can't wait to see what God has in store for us.
Why is there a fan in the ceiling? What kind of job? What the fuck? Is he riding on a bus, maybe? I know it ain't no airplane. Hey, Cam, if you need to take a plane somewhere, talk to Ziggy. She'll hook you up. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm such a mean person. I am kind of mean. I am kind of mean, aren't I?
In our family and our kids, and I hope God has something wonderful in store for you guys as well. Love you. Keep on cracking. God bless.
And this is just me because I'm weird. I think that he would get extreme brownie points, Cam, in Remain Calm's opinion, if you were to admit that things that transpired wasn't your mother trying to come in and take your children just because she wanted to. He, you know, admit your faults. Admit them. That's all you got to do. I do have a dark side. Remain calm on the dark side. On the dark side of the moon. All right. So now I didn't finish listening to the look. 26 people's social security number being dropped in a Discord bothers me extremely. I've always said this. It's a little different when you get personal with somebody on social media and you're calling and you're talking all day and you're on friendly terms to know that person's name. But let me tell you, I've said this from the get-go. If someone asks you somebody's real name that's involved with social media that doesn't already know their real name, Remain Calm, just feels like they're wanting it for nefarious reasons. Right? What did that person think? Number one, obviously, they wasn't thinking when they put that in the Discord. Okay? Who in their right mind would drop all that information in somebody's Discord? That's just not thinking. Whoever did it was not thinking very clearly because it's illegal. It is illegal. Not good. Because they're also going to want to know, how did you get those? How did you get those? Right? They're going to want to know. They're going to want to know. A lot of cray-cray stuff. A lot of cray-cray stuff. La, 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 la. Okay. Oh, I'll tell you a story. This is pretty interesting. So, you don't want to use this lawyer. So, listen now, a couple accidentally gets divorced after lawyer clicks the wrong button using an online portal. The error was reportedly made after the lawyers intended to complete a divorce for another couple. So it was an accident. I divorced you people, and it was an accident. And you know, it was like, are you sure you guys don't want to go ahead and get divorced? I've already divorced you. Well, go get married again, right? Go get married again. So, a couple has mistakenly divorced after an error made by solicitors at a London law firm. A final order for the divorce of a former couple known as Mr. and Mrs. Williams was accidentally applied for by solicitors at Vanguard's law firm after they clicked the wrong button. They clicked the wrong button. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Teresa. Hey, honestly, if you're married and you know, I know Teresa is going to say, no, I wouldn't do that because that's how Teresa is. Teresa wouldn't even take $1 million if I gave it to her. Okay. But what would, you know, if a couple gets in there and, you know, they kind of didn't like each other to start with and a lawyer accidentally divorces them, you know, would it be like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Don't worry about it. We're all good. Thanks for divorcing us. I wanted to do that the whole time anyway, right? So, the error was made when they intended to complete a divorce for another client, but inadvertently opened the electronic case file in Williams versus Williams. Okay, so wait a minute. Oh, I see. Mr. and Mrs. Williams. So when they pulled it up, it was a case file in Williams versus Williams. That divorce, listen to this, that divorce was finalized in 21 minutes. It only took them 20 minutes to get divorced. That's good. That's freaking good. We'll have to remember these. Oh, well, they're not here. They're not in the United States. Okay, so 21 minutes. You can get a 21-minute divorce. And it could be 20 if your lawyer doesn't click the wrong button, okay? As long as the lawyer don't click the wrong button, for real. Okay. Oh, hang on, y'all. I got to let my puppy out. I know people are like, you know, why does she do that? Because I love my dog, and she's very old. So take a moment, class. 4:28, get something to drink. I will be right back. Okay, class. Sorry, whippersnappers. She is a good dog. I love my Rainy dog. I love her. She's so old, though. I get kind of scared when I hear her getting off my bed. But she's out right now. I'm going to let her stay outside for a minute, and then I'll go let her back in. So, a quick 20-minute divorce. Mr. and Mrs. Williams, who split in 2023 after 21 years together, were in the middle of sorting out financial arrangements when their accidental divorce was granted. Now I understand. Now I understand. They were in court after 21 years together, in the middle of sorting out all the financial arrangements when their accidental divorce was granted. Wow, that's different, right? That's a little bit different than taking a couple and clicking the wrong button and poof, they're not married anymore. But I would think after 21 years together that it just wouldn't be a 20-minute divorce. Now I see what the article is all about. Big mess up. Big mess up. So the lawyers, they realized their mistake 2 days later and applied to a high court to repeal the divorce. However, Judge McFarlane refused to meet their request in respect of maintaining the status quo that it has established. Okay, so what's that mean? So the lawyers repealed it to the high courts to repeal the divorce. And the judge was like, no. Wow. Wow. Okay. There is strong public policy interest in respecting the certainty and finality that flows from a final divorce order. Dang, Judge McFarlane. Like many similar online processes, an operator may only get to the final screen where the final click of the mouse is made after traveling through a series of earlier screens. Oh, so the judge is saying you had to go through a lot of screens to get to that final screen, right? The judge added that he intended to reinforce that the online divorce portal system would deliver a final order of divorce where one was not wanted simply by clicking the wrong button. Wow. You guys get the story now, right? Now that we've heard the whole story, that's like a totally different ballgame. So I want to know. Okay, let me read the rest of it here. Aisha Bardag, head of Bardag's firm and a top divorce lawyer in the UK, called out the judge for his bad decision over the solicitor's attempt to fix the error. But judge is saying, look, you had to go through a lot of screens to get to that final screen, right? The state should not be divorcing people on the basis of clerical error, she added. Yes, ma'am, you're backpedaling. You have to. You screwed up. There has to be intention on the part of the person divorcing because the principle of intention underpins the justice of our legal system. When a mistake is brought to a court's attention and everyone accepts that a mistake has been made, it obviously has to be undone. Right? I agree with that. If everyone in that whole situation is like, no, that's not right, you know, how would you? Well, maybe Mr. Williams and Mrs. Williams, because she's still, they're divorced now. Why don't y'all try to get together and figure this stuff out? And then you wouldn't have to pay someone a bunch of money to do it for you. I'm just saying. That's right. Moral of the story, close out all your screens daily. For sure. Sassy, and you could be a lawyer. You could be a lawyer. Girl, you can be whatever you want to be. So, of course, I kind of get that, right? So, we've heard from the court staff that this happens a fair bit with the new online system, and it should just be fixed. Yes, it should. Okay? But here, the husband inexplicably took issue, and the judge decided effectively the computer says, no, you're divorced. Now, wait. Because right up there, the lawyer said, when a mistake is brought to a court's attention and everyone accepts that a mistake has been made, it obviously has to be undone. But then she says, but here the husband inexplicably took issue and the judge decided effectively the computer says, no, you're divorced. The lawyer believes that it's the kind of decision that would be overturned in a higher court, but where the upshot is in reality that a wife who wanted a divorce has got one. Why would that be worth doing in this case? See the point? Y'all see the point? A wife who wanted the divorce got one. Girl, you got your divorce. That's what I said, Mr. and Mrs. Williams. Figure it out. Figure it out. Okay? So, that means for now, our law says that you can be divorced by an error made on an online system. And that's just not right, not sensible, not justice. Kind of scary, isn't it? Kind of scary, I think. Kind of a scary thing. All right. Hang on. Hold on. I forgot to pull the Eagles up. Let's see what the Eagles are doing today. I don't know why Pandrew showed up in my... Okay, Pandrew's live. I'm not going over there. His title is White Boy Mama T and Ocean Lover, cops ain't going to anything, you fools. Andrew, I got a question for you. Why are you trying to get in on the why are you doing what you're doing? I mean, are you trying to do the drama? I don't know. You just want people to like you? Is that what it is? Oh, I'm not talking about you, Andrew, today. I'm not. I ain't freaking doing it. I am not doing it. Okay. All right. Well, that was a little interesting story there, wasn't it? 20-minute divorce. The messed up thing about it is because if they were still in talks, if they were still in mediation to, you know, with their finances and properties or whatever, that is pretty messed up. That is pretty messed up. But then again, the judge maybe is saying also, listen, lawyer people, you made this mistake, you fix it, and you fix it out of court, right? Wouldn't you think that that would be something that the lawyers would be trying to do? They'll be like, look, in the court you're divorced, but let's keep mediation going. Let's figure it out. And then we'll just file the papers when you figure it all out. Right? I don't know. I don't know. Wow. Okay. I'll tell you, that stuff going on with Diddy's crazy. It is crazy. Taylor Swift's got a new album dropping, y'all. She does. That girl's got Taylor, spot me a million, okay? I'm an old lady. I'm a Swiftie. Taylor. Take care of me, girl. Now you got a rich boyfriend, too? You and Travis? Mm-hmm. Girl. Okay. Oh, shit. Shit, fire, save matches, y'all. Okay. Oh, my gosh. I'm looking for, I'm trying to keep things lighthearted and not go into anything like, Oh, did you guys see where, the executor of O.J. Simpson's estates said that he will make sure that the well, wait. Okay, because you guys remember when O.J. Allegedly red-rummed Nicole Brown Simpson, and what was the boy's name? Goldman. Her last name was Goldman, wasn't it? Now, I heard one lawyer say that he was going to let them file, right? to get money from the estate. But I don't, this article's saying that he wants to make sure they get zero from the estate. Thank you, Flies, Ron Goldman. And the thing of, I'll go ahead and pull it up because the thing about it is, even though OJ was found not guilty in his trial, but the Goldmans went and filed, and I think Nicole's family did also file a wrongful death suit and won it. They won it. So I don't think a lot of people even thought about that when he was found not guilty, right? So that says a lot. When they did that, they actually won a very large sum of money. Let me get them where it is up there. I think it was like $33 million. I don't believe it was in OJ's will not to give him the money, but let me find out. We're learning this together. We are learning together. We are. Okay. Executor named in OJ Simpson's will says he'll do everything to ensure Goldman family gets zero from the estate. Wow. Simpson's will was filed in Clark County, Nevada on April 12th, 2 days after he passed away. That is the Goldman family right there. And yes, there is a book out. I believe it's a book. Let me see. Hold on. I'll play this. Let's hear this. Do everything to ensure Goldman gets zero. Simpson's longtime lawyer, Malcolm Laverne, was named as the executor of his estate, and his will filed on April 12th, 2 days after he passed away from cancer at the age of 76. The controversial figure requested that his property be placed into a living trust, and his son Justin was named his successor. Laverne told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that Simpson would be cremated, and arrangements for a funeral services are still being finalized. Now, Nicole and OJ had 2 children together. 2 children together. He also said he doesn't want Ron Goldman's family to acquire any money from the estate. Okay, why are you up there? I don't want you up there. So he wanted to make sure that they didn't receive anything, but I don't know if that's the way that works. He said, it's my hope that the Goldmans get zero, nothing. Them specifically. I will do whatever in my capacity as the executor or personal representative to try and ensure they get nothing. So, TMZ, I want to know why you had one of his estate lawyers up on your show that said that for them to file the claim, and he would help them at least receive some money over that judgment. So He probably shouldn't have went on TMZ and said that because, you know, OJ's estate, they were like, no, sir, that's not going to happen. Okay. He wrote his will out on January 24th. Okay. So I've got the legal document. I don't know if I want to pull it up. I'm just going to read this. Simpson's longtime lawyer, Malcolm Laverne, was named as executor of his estate, with his son Justin being named as a successor. Simpson requested his property be placed into the Orenthal Simpson Revocable Living Trust, and also signed that his last wishes for his remains would be attached to the will itself. The will reads that it will be administered as set forth herein, without litigation or dispute of any kind. And that if a beneficiary, heir, or any other person seeks to set aside the administration of this will, have this will declared null, void, or diminished, or to defeat any change, any part of the provisions of this will, that they'd receive free of trust $1 and no more in lieu of any claimed interest in this will or its assets. So OJ said, here's my will, and you better do with it what I'm telling you to do, because if not, you're going to get $1. All you're going to get is $1. Right? Hey, Hazel. Susan, did I say hi to you? Okay. Isn't that a little crazy? No, not really. Okay. So, Laverne had been representing Simpson since 2009 and told the outlet that he does not want the family of Ron Goldman to acquire money from the estate. There he is. There's the man, O.J. Simpson. It is my hope that the Goldmans get zero, nothing, them specifically, and I will do everything in my capacity as the executor or personal representative to try and ensure that they get nothing. Laverne cited the events surrounding Simpson's controversial book, If I Did It. You guys remember when OJ wrote that book? He wrote a freaking book called If I Did It. Man, we'll have to go over that book sometime. I mean, he said things in that book that, okay, in which the family secured the rights and later issued a revised edition featuring additional commentary. Oh, that would be interesting. The family switched it up a little bit and added some stuff to the book. O.J. Simpson died $114 million in debt to Ron Goldman's family. Battles loom. Okay, I said 33 million. I'm sorry. It was 114 million. And you got to remember, I'm sure there was interest tacked onto that when he didn't make his payments. How does somebody get 114 freaking million dollars in debt? How does that happen? I owe the IRS. They don't leave you alone. I guess you got to have money not to have to pay money. Right? Oh my goodness. An attorney for Goldman's father said Simpson, who was famously, okay, we know he was acquitted of red rumming Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, right? But he owed the family, OJ owed the family like $114 million. Decades after Simpson was ordered to pay the Goldman and Brown family, because see, I remembered, I thought the Brown family also, had judgments against him. Okay, so he was ordered to pay the Goldman Brown family's $33.5 million in a 97 wrongful death lawsuit. Wow. That crime seems like it just happened not that long ago. Wow. The family had not seen any money. OJ didn't pay him a dime. So a lot of that is interest from him not paying it. But then again, you have to realize that if he would have paid them, it would have maybe to OJ, if he would have paid those, Ron Goldman's family and Nicole's family, if he would have paid them, then maybe in his mind he was like, if I do that, then that's going to be admitting that I did it, right? Does that make sense? Even though, the families were granted that money, if he would have made one payment on that, I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think that's what OJ was thinking. Even though a court of law is saying that, I did things, I'm not paying them. Well, no, I'm sure there's money enough to, take care of his kids. So they said he died without penance. He did not want to give a dime, a nickel to Fred Goldman. Never, anything, never. Simpson's executor has now told the Review Journal there was never a court order forcing Simpson to pay the civil judgment, and that he can't make a prediction right now as to what the value of the estate is. So wait a minute. There was never a court order forcing him to pay the civil judgment. But I thought that Ron Goldman's dad, that's kind of a weird thing to say, right? What's he trying to say? The bill collectors never knocked on OJ's door? Mr. Simpson. More debt collectors. That is, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, does it, Susan? Maybe I'm just not, I don't know. Okay, Laverne added he was flummoxed as to why he would name me as the personal representative or the executor. And just to let you guys know, confused. He was just, you know, he was just like, oh my, I don't know why OJ left me as the executor. And it's something I'm going to take seriously. Okay. He said Simpson's going to be cremated. Family announced he succumbed to his disease. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. They said during this time of transition, his family asked that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. Absolutely. Now, this is weird. And I don't think I've ever really, I don't know if I've ever really talked about the O.J. Simpson case. But there is a serial, Killer, that at some point throughout that time it was like a homeless guy. What the freak was his name? I'll have to find it. But he had been in the area and had stated that he had done odd jobs for Nicole before. It's really interesting. I thought his name was Gary something, but I could be totally wrong. For reals. For real. Where are my angles? I started to pull up my eagles. I don't think I ever pulled my eagles up. I call them my eagles. My eagles fly like an eagle. Here they are. I got you, eagles. You're on my watch later list. Okay, we've got the wide angle, and there's the nest. Let's see what's going on. What's going on, my friend? They must have the eggs covered up because it got cold. I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing y'all. Let's check the other one. Oh, wait. Okay, that's not the nest. I want to see the nest. Maybe they'll come back. Hey, eagle friends, come back. All right. What was I going to pull up? I was going to pull something else up. Okay. People got divorced. That's freaking weird, isn't it? People getting divorced by the click of a button. Now, y'all remember Gypsy Rose Blanchard? You remember her? She went to prison for unaliving her mama. Oh my God, that's disgusting to me, Sassy Ann. That is the most disgusting thing. Who did that? Who did that? Do you remember who put that out? I would like to see that because I didn't read all the text and crap. You know who put that out? Okay, so Gypsy. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Gypsy and Gypsy went to prison. Okay. The handyman, Karen, yes. Who ended up being a serial Killer. The guy really was. Oh, crimes. Who is that? Is that Brooks? Crime Stories Upset. Is that Brooks? I don't know. I mean, I just happened to see the text. I really don't watch that. She should still be in jail. Oh, Emma. Okay, that's different. So was it? I guess I should watch it. I guess I should watch it real quick. Dang it, I'm sorry. I took the Eagles off. I am just a horrible human being. Come back, Eagles. Come back, my friends. Okay. What do you mean regarding Sebastian? Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'll show it. Is that the link to it? I don't think she'll get mad if I show it. I hope not. Oh, shit. Hang on. Hang on, y'all. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Okay, hang on. Okay, you got... Oh, I'm subbed to her. I'm subbed to you, Emma. Okay, wait. I just saw about the guy just now. I think it came from one guy in Facebook group and Crime Stories Obsessed thought. Well, we're gonna listen to what she says. I hope she I'm gonna have to speed it up, you guys, but this is Crime Stories Obsessed talking. Well, I can just kind of let's just show you guys so I did listen to a little bit of it. Thank you guys for reminding me about this. For real. I forgot about it. Because I was definitely, I didn't get to watch all of it, but okay, let me give you a thumbs up there, Crime Stories Upset. And I will be commentating on this, you guys. She is really good at what she does. So please don't strike me. Okay, Emma?
There's some guy who has been sending messages to someone on, it looks like
Okay, wait. I should be able to... Hang on. Let's pull it up on Facebook. Find Sebastian Rogers case discussion. Right? I should be able to get it on Facebook, right? Okay. Find Sebastian Rogers. Case discussion. Bidding. Okay, we got a couple here. I have Sebastian Rogers. Is that where I click right there? I wonder. Hang on. Okay, that goes right back to Emma anyway. All right, sorry, y'all. I apologize, y'all. Don't get mad at me. Oh, shit. Okay. So this is on Crime Stories Obsessed. And this person on Facebook said, I called the police, but these are the messages that were sent to me. It's pathetic, and whoever this is need to stop or needs to be investigated. So who is the person? Does anybody know who the person is that these messages were sent to? Is that person a family member? Because I am always really like when somebody would send something like this to somebody on Facebook or YouTube, right? Right? No identity or receipts. This is kind of weird, y'all. Seriously.
Messenger, and he is saying that he has Sebastian Rogers. It's probably a load of rubbish. The police have been told about these messages. It probably is just a load of rubbish. It needs to be investigated.
Okay, I'm going to read these real quick. So this person says, how are you to Sebastian Roger? The other person says, I don't know him, just a kid I see missing. Why? He says, okay. This person says, why did you message me? So is this a Facebook message? I mean, right?
SAP, but I wanted to bring this to you because there's a lot of people on YouTube that don't have Facebook. Okay, so this man, the man who is apparently saying he has Sebastian, says to this other person, how are you to Sebastian Rogers? Doesn't really make much sense, but that's what he says. So this random person says, I don't know him. Just a kid I see is missing. Why? So this man said, okay. So the other person said, why did you message me? So this man who's saying he's got Sebastian said, someone is been here with me. Name that name. So the random person says, who? Sebastian Rogers. So this man says, hell yeah, I'm just trying to know. So the random person says, you're trying to know what? So the man says, he's here with me though, since some weeks ago. So this person says, who are you to him? So the man said, I found him on the roadside. If you got his family, let them know. I don't want to free him. So this person says, okay. So the man says, yeah.
I don't want to free him. Oh, you getting Helga vibes off of this? Look, some people in these missing children cases, people can do and say evil, disgusting stuff. They can. I mean, there was, just like Summer's case, it was so much nonsense. This woman come on and was trying, I mean, some of these people said some of the craziest stuff I ever heard. I just mailed you the man's picture and name. Thank you, Sassy Ann. It's so sweet. That is so sweet of you, girl. See, and I keep my Facebook. Okay, this is the guy. The dude lives in Oklahoma. Is he a truck driver or something? I mean, for real? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, hang on. Hang on, y'all. Hang on. Okay. Thank you. I'll pull that up in just a second. Not a drama, Nana. Not a drama nana. I'm sure Night's in a cell, hopefully. The problem is, I mean, okay, he lives in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, where the winds come crashing down the plains.
He said he was kidnapped and he escaped. So the random person said, who kidnapped him? So the man said, saying he don't want to go back home. So what's this about? Who is this guy? His name apparently is Robert Humans.
So he's saying that he picked Sebastian up on the side of the road and said he was kidnapped and didn't want to go back home. But problem, Mr. Humans. Humans. Why would you contact somebody that you don't know on the Facebook, the YouTube, whatever? That right there makes me go, it doesn't even make me go, huh. Okay? I don't even go, huh, over that. I don't. For real.
Probably shouldn't be giving him the screen time. Is he telling the truth? Did he find Sebastian on the roadside? Is Sebastian at his property? Why is he saying that Sebastian is with him? Why is he saying that Sebastian told him he'd been kidnapped and he'd escaped? Why is he saying he doesn't want to free him? What's going on? And he's saying that Sebastian's been with him for weeks now. Do you believe?
And this is the weird thing. He doesn't want to free him. That's some weird ass wording right there. He doesn't want to free him, right?
Believe this? What do you think about it? It sounds like a load of crap to me, but there you go. That's what was on Facebook this morning, and supposedly this guy is behind the text messages. It has been sent to the police. They are aware of it. I'm sure they will be going to check this guy out. It is a lead, even though it's probably a load of rubbish, but who knows? So let me know what you think in the comment section about this.
Oh no. Dolly Vision. Why am I seeing that name right there? Oh my gosh. Hello, H. Davis. Mr. Davis. He is using more names with the same picture of him. Yes, darling. Let me pull that over here. Okay, so this is, we're on the Facebooker, okay? Y'all know I'm not crazy about the Facebooker. Okay, let's see what we got going here. Okay. This Robert guy is not the scammer. He simply took a screenshot of Marcus Salazar. The only thing that was changed was the location. So the guy's name is Marcus Salazar, right? On March 31st, he commented. Why aren't you getting a hold of who needs to be gotten a hold of? I'm sorry, man. I think you are a scammer. Scammer. 4:15. Okay, what the fuck is that supposed to be? Google Earth. I don't know what this stuff is. Let's get out of there. Go back. Go back. Well, I mean, Oh my goodness. I know some don't like Jennifer, but you will find she is very angry today. Yeah, let's listen to this is off the Facebook, but we're gonna listen to Jennifer Koppendorfer. I think it'd be very interesting. Okay, wait a minute, because it's just going to the link. It's just going to the link when I was listening to it earlier. See, I was listening to this earlier. And she's talking about Sebastian and some of the things that have been going on. I'll put it on quick. I've been on here an hour and a half, y'all. For real. Let me speed her up. Yeah, because I was definitely listening to what she was saying about this case. And I mean, I just agree with a lot.
That others put them down. I mean, people are sacrificing their time and effort to help find a little boy, Sebastian Rogers. And just for me, I'm not one to put people down. I don't need to put people down to aggrandize myself. And people who tend to follow that line of thinking, in other words, we're going to bash everybody because then that makes us look good. It's just something to consider for all of you all as you decide who you put credence in what they have to say and who you don't put credence in what they have to say. But regarding this Uvalde organization, from looking into them, I have absolutely no reason to believe they are anything but a legitimate organization. I don't care if their website is great or not. I care that they put boots on the ground and people on the ground and that they cared about searching for Sebastian Rogers.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. That's what it's all about. And, you know, I'm sorry, and if the shoe fit wears it, but the chaos ensuing in this case is horrible. Horrible. And this is just my opinion. You all act like that what you're doing is, you know, all wonderful. But there's one person getting hurt. And it ain't Seth. It ain't Katie. It ain't Chris. It ain't Grandma and Grandpa. It ain't Auntie and Uncle. One person.
I think we all wish we could be, could have been involved, walking the grounds, looking, doing everything in our power. But when we can't, and others can because they have the ability to volunteer and there's part of these organizations, my hat goes off to them. But I want to get down to way more important matters than that. Sorry, I broke my glasses.
That's so funny. Me too, Jennifer. I broke 2 pair. I broke 2 pair, girl. I broke a pair, put them down, picked up another pair, broke them too. Just didn't know my own strength that day, I guess.
Anyway, I have always, in the Sebastian Rogers case, been very careful not to cast aspersions at the family until something came forward from law enforcement. Something that gave us a hint of foul play.
And thank you, but I have to say this. I did commentate on a lot of what Seth said and what Katie said and what Chris said. I did. I think mainly I did it to show the inconsistencies and what they were saying, and you know that, and to compare it to other missing child cases. Craziness.
A hint from law enforcement that there was something awry. We have plenty of hints. I put a whole list forward of the issues. My number one issue, why in the world did the Proudfits leave their home? the home where Sebastian Rogers would likely return to if indeed he had run away.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you go back and listen to the dispatch calls, what was weird to me when Katie was driving around looking, the comment was made that the doors on the house were locked. Now, some people I know probably took that as in when Sebastian went missing, the door was locked. But my mind, because I'm weird, y'all know I'm weird, my mind was like, did she get in the vehicle to go look for him and lock the house up behind her? That was weird to me, okay? Because if you're out looking for your son, you don't know where he's at, you would probably want to make sure that that child had easy access to get back in that house. But I don't know, it probably locked automatically, right?
Other concerns. Why all of these statements that contradict each other? I really try to look at the statements and ask myself, how relevant are they really? How relevant are they to him being missing and what could have been done? As an example, when Chris Proudfoot said he had taken the polygraph, right? But he hadn't taken the polygraph, but I took that as he was sort of answering for we, and also that he was considering the fact that he agreed to take a polygraph when he misspoke there. So I didn't see that one as a big one. But let's face it, everyone, it's misstatement after misstatement after misstatement. Something else problematic. The only proof of life outside of what Katie Proudfoot has said is that video footage from the restaurant. That's it. None of us, of course, have seen it, and we shouldn't see it.
Yes.
But Seth saw it. Katie Proudfoot saw it. Seth, unfortunately, didn't take notes about it because I'm sure he was just so happy to see, his son alive. But we don't know what clothing was worn. We don't really know much. We just know it was grainy, but at least it was proof of life.
That's what I was saying. Because, see, she was like, oh, he was in, what was it, black sweats and black sweatshirt or something. I can't remember what she said. But I'm like, so did Sebastian go to bed in the clothes that he had on that day? Did he change his clothes? Right? I thought that.
Do we have any proof of life after that?
No, we don't.
Third-party proof of life? I don't think we do.
See, isn't that interesting? Because we don't. We don't. How can we sit and say that Sebastian left between midnight and 6 that morning? We can't. The last time he was on video was when they went to eat. And I'm telling y'all, that fun breakfast on Sunday and the wonderful times they had that day was weird to me. That was weird to me. Also, her saying within some of the first questions she's asked, she proceeds to say that, okay, they had a fun breakfast. She even said what they had for breakfast. But then she kind of throws a dig in at Sebastian by saying that, we called family because Sebastian likes to brag. Was that weird to anybody else? Or is that just my weird mind? Y'all know I got a weird ass mind. My mind is weird.
Word of Katie Proudfoot. That her son came home with her, that her son was in bed, that at 10:30 there was a thud, which I find interesting that, initially it was a sound, then it raised to a thud. It was almost like she was trying to explain what happened in that house without really explaining what happened in that house. In other words, was an accident that was covered up. Was there a thud that she possibly caused? What happened in that house? We don't know. But I have greater pause than I've ever had in this case because of a statement from the Uvalde Foundation. I'm going to put my broken glasses on. I know some of you might laugh. All right. The Uvalde Foundation was out searching. The Uvalde Foundation is
You're
a
good,
group that
Hazel.
began after the Uvalde shootings occurred. Remember, those were the shootings in Texas. It was a shooting where multiple students and kids were murdered. It was a horrible active shooter situation that police really stood by and watch happen. Nobody went in to help as screams were flying out.
Yeah,
in fact,
remember that,
police
you guys?
kept parents and people from going in and saving these children, rescuing these children possibly. So many lessons learned on what not to do in an active shooter situation in a school. But I'm digressing. That case gets me hot under the collar because I've seldom seen a case more poorly handled by law enforcement, by them not doing what they pledged to do. And that is put your life on the line in situations like that, when you have body armor, when you have guns, when you are supposed to be tactically trained to save a child. But anyway, again, I'm digressing. I want to get back to Sebastian Rogers. This group was formed, and they went a little bit out of their normal comfort zone of really advocacy for children and kids that are murdered as a result of school shootings, and their advocacy in that arena. And because, like so many of us, their heartstrings were completely tugged. Their heartstrings for somebody like Sebastian Rogers, who has autism, who we have come to find out has been beaten with a belt, and who was beaten before that by other family members, who was sexually assaulted in the home of the Proudfoots, under their nose, in, I believe, an apartment setting. We're all, I think, enraged by that. And our eyebrows are raised, because if somebody is going to not recognize that this could be happening to their autistic son, what are we to really believe?
And the bad thing about it is we don't know what to believe. We do know for a fact the incident happened, because Katie came out and said the accident happened. I don't want to call it an accident. It wasn't a freaking accident. Sebastian was SA'd by another child. I'll say child, okay? 13 or below. We really don't know. The age has never been specified. And I don't, okay, let me see if I can explain this. Do I believe that the public needed to know that? I don't know. But I think, okay, the way that the incident was presented to us by Seth Rogers was dramatized, right? I'm not saying that what happened to Sebastian is, it was horrible. It's horrible to have something happen like that. But I think if it was told in a different way, where me personally, I could have said, okay, that happened with Sebastian. That's horrible. In my opinion, Seth put it out the way that he did, not to let us know what had happened, but he did it in a way where he went for Katie, in my opinion. And when he went for Katie, it was very obvious, right? It was very obvious that he was doing it to go at Katie. And I really wish he wouldn't have done that, right? Yeah, I mean, I understand why. I understand the importance of letting people know that. But what I'm saying is, I don't even know how I want to word it. Seth Rogers' intentions of saying that about Sebastian, it just seemed to me that his emotions and trying to get his dibs in on Katie kind of made the whole situation even freaking weirder than what it was, right? Even weirder, right?
About this disappearance. We don't have one hide nor hair of Sebastian Rogers yet. I'd love to think that this is another Connor Jack Oswald situation. He left at the age of 17. He was found 2.5 years later, homeless, cold, freezing. He was found, he was identified, and returned to his family. I'd like to think that that could be the scenario here. But I am giving great pause. Was there a scent? There's 5 dogs involved, and there are indications there was a scent, and a scent that went to the construction site. If you listen to the different police, I posted them on my Twitter, the different police calls and what they're saying and what they heard. But with the information today about the Uvalde Foundation pulling off and them giving their reason why, which I'm going to read here, I have grave concerns. Let me read it to you.
All right, I'm going to slow this down just a little bit because I want you guys to hear why this foundation pulled out from looking for Sebastian. Blythe said, in my opinion, I didn't need to know what happened. Yeah, I didn't either, Blythe. I really didn't either. You know. Also, I don't think Seth has much pride in law enforcement. Oh, Teresa. He does feel like they haven't done enough. And that's nonsense. They're not just this is my opinion. The reason Seth was going off about law enforcement and Dave Radar of EquiSearch and, all these people, these organizations that are coming in on their own dime and looking for his son. What pisses him off is because they're not standing there handing out flyers. Okay? In my opinion.
All right. Sorry, I want to start where it makes sense. Summarily and briefly, our foundation is not law enforcement and became involved in this particular case due to its nature involving an amazing young man, Sebastian. And while it's not parallel to our nonprofit's work to prevent school violence as a nonprofit student youth advocacy organization, we could not turn a blind eye to his plight. And if you remember, they weren't making a lot of hoopla about their involvement,
No,
just
they
like
weren't.
many other advocacy and search groups out there searching. They're about the mission. They're not about the publicity. So my hat's off to, again, all these searchers. Too many organizations and individuals do just that. We avoid getting involved. It is not our business, or we feel that we are underqualified or too young or too worried what others will think. Sorry, I broke in there and I didn't preface that. In other words, they said, we're going to go out there and we're going to help fight the fight. We're going to go look. And unlike other people or businesses who may not do that because they're too worried about what will other people think? Will they think they're just doing it because of money? Will people say terrible things about our organization? They said basically, or because they don't think we're qualified, so they say bad things about it. We're going to turn a blind. We're not going to turn the blind eye that those organizations have turned. We're getting out there, boots on the ground, and we're going to do everything they can to find Sebastian Rogers.
Okay, what do you think she means by organizations? People who only had one thing in mind was to go to try and help find Sebastian. it why people would try to discredit. That's the thing about social media. A lot of it is people trying to discredit other people, right? People trying to discredit other people. There's a lot of that goes on social media.
Love their statement here because they have been ridiculed. They've been put down by others that just every time I read it, I just try to move on, roll and scroll, but I couldn't on this one. This is just terrible. Anyway, whatever the reasonings, they are unacceptable. Since Uvalde, Texas, our foundation has been dedicated to protecting youth and serving them. In this case, it didn't matter to us that it wasn't a school violence related. It was a case involving a child missing. And as a nonprofit, we have resources, and they chose to put their resources out. When you're thinking about following somebody or supporting somebody who is putting down another organization, I just ask you to really consider what that means, because that preempts other organizations that might normally go out and put boots on the ground, but now they may not want to because out of concern that they're going to get ridiculed, or their foundation is going to be put down, or they're going to get a black eye on their organization. And these are nonprofits. So I ask you just to consider that.
Yeah, and people need to understand that. You guys get what Jennifer's saying. When you have a nonprofit organization, okay, that means that they aren't asking for any money. They're using all the resources that they have to come in and try to help a child or whatever. And, you know, it can end up the stuff that goes on with some of these creators on social media. And hey, you know what? If the shoe fit, wears it. But it's taking these organizations and it's sad, y'all. It's sad.
We're mothers, we're fathers, and we're family members. That's who was out there searching. Anyway, I'm going to move on beyond their mission statement.
Teresa, honey. Teresa Jones, Teresa Jones, Teresa Jones, Teresa Jones. Okay. Well, I can say this. Law enforcement has not come out and said that Seth Rogers is not a person of interest, nor Katie Proudfoot, nor Chris Proudfoot, nor anybody. Right? Now, we've heard them say, oh, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying.
And basically put forth what they say. As this case progressed from Tennessee to Mississippi and into Alaska, we became increasingly convinced of the culpability of certain family members of Sebastian's family in his disappearance.
Wow.
So let that sink in. This group out there helping search, in the middle of it all, and likely in some coordination with law enforcement, has said they've become increasingly convinced of the culpability of certain members of Sebastian's family in his disappearance.
Wow, that says a lot. This is coming from a well-respected organization. So they went, what'd she say? They went to Alaska, they went to Mississippi. See, I think people didn't think that even though there was talk about the family going to Alaska or whatever, that law enforcement didn't check into that. Y'all are silly because they did. I can guarantee you they were on it. Probably before the YouTubers were even putting it out.
Why are they making a public stance? Just as holding parents accountable when their child enters a school and kills students is appropriate. So in other words, just like
Dang,
the Crumley,
trigger
for
warning.
those who followed that case, the Michigan case of the young kid who went into his school and murdered 4 people whose family had turned their back on him, begging for help, whose school didn't even notice, or they noticed pictures of him, drawing guns and bleeding and everything on his math papers, didn't do anything. And now we have 4 dead children in Michigan. That's what this group fights for, holding everyone accountable that should be held accountable, including the parents of children who give them their guns, who allow them access to their guns, who don't guard their guns.
And you know what, Jennifer? It's very noticeable that you're very passionate about this. And I commend you for that, even though you're way more, you're a lot smarter than I am. But I commend you for that. Good. People need to stand up for what they believe. They really do. I'm not going to get political. I could, but I'm not going to.
Guns, and then they go in and they murder innocent kids. Man, I'm riled up this morning.
You go, girl.
This foundation believes in holding them accountable, and they're saying they also believe in holding people that they believe are accountable in Sebastian Rogers' family.
Hence, Jennifer, can you find out for me why Chris Proudfoot and Seth Rogers, from the get-go of Sebastian going missing, had a conversation about money? I want to know. Is that a stupid question? Put a 1 in chat if that's a stupid question. Why would both of the men in Sebastian's life have a conversation about money, period? Why was money even brought up? Was money brought up maybe because maybe Katie and Chris had been flipping the bill for Seth, and they might have said, we're not going to, if you take off work for Sebastian, we cannot pay you to do that, right? I don't know. Hey, Patty Ponytail. I'll have to add you into the Island Girl and Poppy in a Red Mustang. I'll have to add you into that song. Patty Ponytail, Poppy in a Red Mustang, Island Girl, Angela. Chris stated after Sebastian went missing, all 3 adults sat down. They said they would not start a GoFundMe. Angela, why did the conversation about money start? Period. Question mark. But I do appreciate your input there, Angela.
Further, they say, holding family members publicly accountable when their child is endangered or harmed in any way due to their potential negligence or worse.
Whoa.
They further say, this case has gravitated toward a criminal investigation, which we will not comment on. Coupled with our limited resources, we've elected to cease our search efforts. Okay.
Wow. Wow, that says a lot, you guys.
Hugely concerned over this. Hugely concerned, not over words, but over words in print to an organization whose credibility is on the line. In addition, I actually had a lot of hope when law enforcement went back out and started search efforts again. I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? He did just go out. He did just go outside barefoot. He took a flashlight. He'd had it with his home life. He didn't call on Seth because he wasn't treated that well there either, at least according to court documents. He had
See, I said that. I'm just not Jennifer. That's what I told y'all. I said the same thing. Are you kidding? I'm happy if I get $5, let alone 25,000. I mean, and maybe a lot of us who, you know, followed Summer's case and everything about it, maybe we're seeing things in this case that some people may not be seeing, right? Maybe we're seeing things a little different because we had been there and done that. We done seen that. Yes, I knew that his sister started it. Seth said he told her to do it. Seth said when his sister said something about the GoFundMe, he told her, go ahead and do it. That's exactly what he said. It came out of his mouth. I heard it. He told her, go ahead and do it.
no place to turn. So you know what he did? He left. He left. But now,
how do you keep something?
Jennifer, I love listening to you. You're so smart.
again, on my Twitter, I put out 2 lists. The first list, why it would seem there's culpability on the part of Seth's parents, that they are in some way responsible for his disappearance. And then I sent another list, why they aren't. I challenge you to go back and look at that list. I won't read.
Oh, I have to, if I can find it. I don't have Twitter, though. I might be able to pull it up. It's probably on her Google page. I said in another chat, I didn't think Seth is the angel. A lot of times I think he is. I got clobbered, something terrible. Hazel, you tell him Remain Calm said, don't be picking on you. Did you put in my opinion? Oh, you said I didn't think. If you said I didn't think, or I believe, or in my opinion, they should have left you alone. It was Chris and Seth's sister arguing on the Facebook. Oh, well, what were they arguing about? The GoFundMe? These people be arguing all over the place.
Read it here for time's sake. But I list very succinctly concerns. And now, my barometer is certainly going that way. When I think of what they possibly could have done with Seth or to Seth,
Sebastian. Or is
I'm
it
extremely
Seth?
worried. There was a lot of time in between his last proof of life
Oh, she's talking about
by
Sebastian.
outsiders and the time he was.
No, she didn't mean Seth, y'all. She meant Sebastian. It's okay, Jennifer. I get like that too sometimes.
Reported. One piece of information from Facebook has always sort of deterred me from thinking there was foul play. First of all, the fact that law enforcement has been saying that, but law enforcement has also said no one is off the table. But it's always bothered me that this mother and daughter thought they saw Sebastian and reported it. That wasn't the part that bothered me. I understand that wasn't a apparent legitimate sighting, according to law enforcement, because they came out and clarified that. It was always Katie Proudfoot's response to that I was saying seemed legitimate when she was asking, well, did he have shoes on? Was he, asking questions about that? That would not be the normal response of somebody who's just murdered their child.
Thank you. Blythe, did you hear that? Chris and Seth had a weird ass relationship, in my opinion.
Just let it go. They wouldn't inquire necessarily. But aside from that, really that one piece giving me pause as to what happened in terms of her culpability. Now, with this statement, I'm very concerned. That combined with everything else we've talked about, the inconsistent statements, the fact we haven't seen hide nor hair of Sebastian, the fact he left barefoot. You know what that always made me think of early on? It made me think something terrible happened to him and he was disposed of and he didn't have shoes on. They remembered to grab the glasses. They forgot to grab his shoes, and they realized that law enforcement would realize that when they went back to the house.
Wow, interesting. He didn't have shoes on. Because we got two people, right? Katie took a lie detector. We know that for a fact. But there were two people who, yes, Team Sebastian, for real. I got you. Yep. Team Sebastian. We've got two people who both were saying that they weren't asked to take lie detectors tests. We've got one who said, I'll take it for law enforcement first before I take it for anybody else. And then we'll talk about it after that. And then we've got the other one who is so tired. And we know that there are, even though they're prescribed, there was prescriptions involved, and fell asleep a couple times, right? For real. We got a couple people who talked about money from the very beginning. What in your mind, what was the conversation that was being had when a GoFundMe for a missing boy is even talked about in the very beginning? Because it's not a GoFundMe for Sebastian, it's a GoFundMe for Seth, right? And we cannot sit there and say that Katie was part of that conversation, can we? I don't know. But that's like my dog goes missing, and yeah, I'm out walking around looking for it. But I'm walking around looking for it because I know the money's coming in. My dog's missing. I can't work today. My dog's missing. I shouldn't do that. I'm not comparing Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers to a animal. Okay, so if that came out wrong, I apologize. I think both sides are sus. Sebastian is the only victim. Sebastian is the only victim. But man, it is very interesting for her to read that letter. And who let the dogs out, Genevieve? Who let the dogs out? Ooh, 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 ooh. You're trying to catch your breath from that comment. What is up, Be the Bean?
And his shoes were accounted for. And so they said that. That was the first thing I thought.
See, that was weird, the shoe comment, too. When she wouldn't answer how many pairs of shoes he had because of the investigation. She possibly didn't want to say how many pairs of shoes he had because, yes, all his shoes were there. That didn't make any sense to me. I don't know what Angela's talking about. She'll have to tell you, Flies. I'm not mind reading today.
But again, I'm quelled because you never want to accuse a family without solid proof. But I'm telling you right now, cautiously, I'm very concerned, as most of you all have been all along, about
Yep.
the involvement of these parents.
Thank
the
you.
prophets. You don't leave your home when your autistic child has supposedly run away.
Thank
Because
you.
where could they go back to? Home.
Now, and we all questioned that, right? But then they threw in the, it's not safe. And sadly, if you look at the players involved, some of the creators, we'll call them, involvement, and, these threats and things being had, it would be, I think, scary for Katie to be there by herself. But isn't she one of those kung fu people? Isn't she? She's a jiu-jitsu kind of girl, I think.
All right, guys, I just had to come on. We all care about this case. I guess for me, my bubble of Connor Jack Oswald, hope that he had truly walked away, my bubble was popped a bit today.
Hang on, I gotta get my dog, y'all. Okay. I go and come back. Who can't come into chat? Genevieve said at this point, a huge, big, deep breath needs to happen. I don't want to see this case get so much publicity that the obvious facts of evidence becomes distorted. Well, that's, you know, we got to think about this, because as adults, we should, you know, have enough. Well, not everybody does it, but if you're on social media and you can be in somebody's chat, you can go check out the facts, research it on your own, you know, and go with what law enforcement is saying the majority of the time. Well, who's blocked, Teresa? Yeah, I think it already has too. Yeah, Rainy Dog. I let her out of my bedroom. I'll get her fixed up here pretty soon. So that's what I always used to tell people all the time. Even if you think you're watching a drama channel and they're supposed to be talking about a certain subject, and they'll talk about it and then there'll be a little drama. If you just kind of fast forward through the drama, if you don't want to listen to it, there tad bits of information are kind of dropped throughout some of it. Hang on a second, you guys.
Jesus.
Okay, let me get Rainy some food real quick. Okay, I apologize. I had to give her chicken and rice. Girlfriend eats chicken and rice now. She getting so old. Okay. Yeah. You haven't been able to see my wrench since today she got a fry that I had her comment. Oh, I don't think I blocked her. Don't be mad at my mods. They, you know, sometimes look, if a mod has to hide a comment that you make, don't take it personal. Sometimes it's the wording, because YouTube they are on what is being said in comments. That's why we kind of say dress your cursey words and stuff up. But yeah, definitely don't take it personal. For real. For real, for real. But yes, it's just getting Sebastian's case is getting you know, really, really out of hand. And the thing about it is, now we have to look. What did Dog the Bounty Hunter say? Oh, he's such a tough guy. Allegedly, Dog the Bounty Hunter said it's likely one of the parents and Sebastian is in the water or very close to home. How sad. But the guy who made them freaking post. So is this when they went? Is that the in-laws? Chris Proudfoot's mom Facebook. Well, they are on vacation. Wow. Dog didn't say anything of great importance. Well, you wouldn't think so, Genevieve. Girl. No, I heard him. I did hear him talking. I just couldn't remember everything he said. Chris, mom, and stepdad. Maybe Chris's mom didn't. I thought they went to Alaska. When was this posted? 18 hours ago? So they went to Alaska and now they're in Puerto Rico? Genevieve, you talking about the dog that way? Girl. You talking about the dog? Roof, roof. I was never, are you trying to get back on my bed? Let me help my dog. I know y'all are like, why'd she do that? Because I love my dog. Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, not sorry. So, you know, I guess when we're talking about maybe, oh, thanks, Teresa. I do. I love my pup. My old pup. They be like that Johnny Cash song. They be everywhere, man. I was how's that song go?
Wait, you hit that?
So, oh my gosh, let me freaking shut my door. I can hear Chad.
That was ridiculous for my view. It was fucking, I didn't even know you hit that.
All right, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. Oh, had to give me something cold to drink. Oh, you got a lab, Patty? Okay, so let me ask this. Okay, because we just listened to Jennifer Koppendorfer, and you know, there are so many people that are out there searching for Sebastian, that are, and look, I'm not stepping on anybody's bag. I could care less. But there's a lot of people out looking for Sebastian that is dropping their cash apps and everything else like that. A lot of them. Wow, that's old. That's about Rainy age. Ooh, an Australian cattle dog. There's the weirdo who said he's got Sebastian. You know, we get them like that. Oh, Dad's polygraph results. Who did this? Crime Girly. JLR said he heard Chris had passed his polygraph, and Seth's results are inconclusive. Here's the video. It's being talked about. Okay, let's see who it is. Hold on to my low budget channel. All right, this is JLR talking about something. Let's hear what JLR's saying. Hello, JLR. How are you today, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, let's hear what JLR says. This is JLR Investigates. Okay, JLR Investigates. And I have to speed it up a little bit. I don't know why people don't ever just slow it down. Probably because it's really weird if you slow it down. Okay, here we go.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. JLR Investigates. Come on in. We have a lot to talk about this evening.
I'm coming,
Sebastian
JLR.
Windrake Rogers is still missing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he is.
It has been multiple weeks since this young man, 15 years old, vanished. Reported missing by his mom, biological mom, Katie Proudfoot, and his stepdad. Together, they called the Sumner County Sheriffs during the early morning hours of February 26, 2024. Sebastian has still not been found.
So, Chris Proudfoot was working out of town. Katie says she got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, couldn't find Sebastian. So she was driving around looking for him, all panicky, and calls Chris Proudfoot, who then does a 3-way phone call to the sheriff's department, I believe, because he knew who to call. He knew who to call. Right? Right?
Where is he? Where is he? Now let's talk about a few things because we are the eyes and ears of the internet. JLR likes to scour around the net and see who's saying what and who's...
JLR likes to hide in the bushes. He does. He be peeking around through the bushes and stuff. Thank you, guys.
doing what in reference to this case, and we do many other cases too. But we've been focused a lot on the Sebastian Rogers case. We're going to talk about polygraphs because the Seth Rogers' mom shared his polygraph results, or at least in a few sentences, and we're going to talk about that. It was predicted, when I put it out there that the rumor mill was that when Seth Rogers took his polygraph, during the course of his polygraph, because of medications or tired or overwhelmed or whatnot, he fell asleep multiple times in the during the polygraph. My sources told me he actually failed the polygraph because of that. However, since the fact that he fell asleep and was, because he was on medications, overwhelmed, whatever reason, the results were going to come back inconclusive. And
just like Dawn and Candace's, right? Dawn and Candace were so overwhelmed, they fell asleep too. They were so tired, right? Yeah, Sassy Ann. I adore Sassy Ann. I adore you too, Teresa. I adore Flies too, but, she just has to put up with my shit. That girl puts up with a lot of shit from me. Linda. Her name's not Linda. I just call people Linda. It's kind of like a nicer Karen. I don't know. Listen, Linda. That's what I say. Listen, Linda.
He reported that weeks ago, or when he, a couple days after he took it. Nancy Grace. He took a polygraph with Nancy Grace. He didn't take a polygraph with TBI, ladies and gentlemen. That we know of. Maybe he did, but this is in regards to Nancy Grace. Now,
and I'm telling you, I bet Nancy was freaking mad. Has she talked about it yet? I don't know. I haven't looked to see if she talked about it yet.
The mother of Seth Rogers, who is the grandmother of Sebastian, Robin Rogers, she put out, she's in groups, she's in Facebook groups. We validated this statement that she made. So I'm going to share with you what she said, and then we'll further discuss about the polygraph, because at the same time,
Teresa.
word is that Chris Proudfoot also recently took a polygraph, but he didn't take a polygraph with Nancy Grace. Apparently, he took a polygraph with DBI. But let's go with Seth Rogers first, folks. So put this out there. This is a screenshot from Robin Rogers, Sebastian's grandma, Seth's mom. And he said South, which is Seth. She meant Seth. Was so exhausted and with some medications for shoulder and neck pain that he fell asleep during his polygraph. This made it inconclusive. The only reason he took it was to put pressure on Chris Proudfoot to do a polygraph. And no, Chris Proudfoot did not do a polygraph. So this is coming from Robin Rogers. And I put out there, I put the tweet, Robin Rogers claims that Rogers' polygraph came back inconclusive. Nancy Grace coordinated the polygraph. She also claims that Chris Proudfoot never took a polygraph through Nancy Grace, and that Seth took the polygraph to put pressure on Chris to take one. Did Chris take a TBI polygraph? And
why does Seth act like he does things to pressure other people to do things? Did Seth really think that him agreeing to take the lie detector was going to make Chris Proudfoot say, oh my gosh, Seth took one, I'm taking mine? Right? And right after he told Nancy Grace that he would take that lie detector test, guess what? Seth hurt himself and got put on medication. I'm just saying. For real. Hey, was his. Oh, you're number 25? Maybe because he's a control freak. I'll tell you what. There's a lot of narcissists who have found their way to freaking social media, right? I think I've seen a lot, a whole lot of narcissists who like to control.
I predicted this, and my sources told me, and I posted, I followed up on my tweet, but this is what I tweeted on April 11th. Rumors are circulating that Seth Rogers' polygraph will come back inconclusive. This could be because Seth claims he fell asleep numerous times during it. Sebastian Rogers remains missing. Now,
why didn't he just, oh, sorry. Why didn't he just tell them that he was on medication? Why wouldn't he have just told them that he was on medication? Why didn't he just say, I'm hurt and I'm on medication and I cannot take this right now? Who goes in to take a lie detector knowing that they're freaking tired? They're asking you questions about your son and you fall asleep. Who does that? Hang on, was his, I seen your comment. I was getting ready to say something about it. I gotta find it now. I don't know where it went. It's here somewhere. Okay, sorry, I lost it. I lost your comment. I don't know where it went. Okay. But yeah, who does that, y'all? And let me tell y'all something. Do you really think that law enforcement is going to tell Seth Rogers if Chris Proudfoot took a lie detector or not? Because exactly what Chris Proudfoot said, I will get one taken by the TBI. And then we'll go with it from there. I wonder how TBI would have felt if they would have brought Seth in and he did that throughout one of their lie detector tests and not just Nancy Grace's people. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was his. Yeah. We kind of heard, I don't know if it's true, but it was somebody had said that he had actually tried to get disability quite a few times for that injury, right?
Should we do a do-over with this polygraph? Because inconclusive has a lot of people speculating. But we've always said on this channel, and I can tell you that I've spoken to numerous coworkers of Seth Rogers, works at the Davidson County Corrections. And I can tell you that they're all saying that he has a solid, rock solid alibi. He was at his job before Sebastian went to bed, when Katie claimed she put him to bed. He was already clocked in at his job. And he stayed.
Okay. But JLR, it doesn't mean that he did not possibly know what was transpiring. Okay. He wasn't physically there, maybe, right? Because we have to look at the times when they got back from the restaurant. That was the last video, was at the restaurant. So
He stayed at his job throughout the night. He worked the entire night shift. So I don't think there's any dispute, unless you know otherwise. And Seth said it himself.
No. I want to know what time did he go to work? He was there all night. But Sebastian could have went missing anytime after they got... Sebastian could have went missing on the way home from that restaurant. Right? Because, I mean, I've heard different stories about him taking the trash out. For real. It was in the divorce papers. Well, if he was on pain meds for his shoulder back then he's been on stuff for quite a while, right? But I don't see you being able to work the job that he had and take pain medicine, right? I don't know, though. Oh, you're okay, Exploited. You're all right. I am getting ready to get off here. Teresa told me 2 hours a while back, and I got to get off here too.
He worked, right? So, you know, this polygraph, because it came back inconclusive, doesn't mean, oh my God, Seth might have done something or whatever like that. I'm told that Seth was at his job. And remember, folks, you're working at the Department of Corrections. There's Big Brother and cameras watching you at all angles, looking at you. Every single nook and cranny of that building is under surveillance, parking lot and all. Seth Rogers also said at the time he was begging law enforcement, please, 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 let me take a polygraph to clear my name so you can clear me. Please, please, please. Like, he wants to give a polygraph. So because it came back inconclusive doesn't mean guilt at all in my eyes. What about yours? You might feel otherwise, but I think it's important to share that information to me and my.
Well, I would think too that if somebody's begging me to give them a lie detector test, I need to take some time and know exactly what kind of questions that I want to ask. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So the longer that they waited, they knew he was at work from a certain time to a certain time, okay? But, you know, law enforcement has sat back and watched what he's been saying. So I'm sure getting him in there when they did, I would hope that they would have asked him a lot of questions about the family and the, you know, all of it. All of it.
My sources told me he had a rock solid alibi. But now let's go to Chris Proudfoot, because this is where it's going to get all tricky and all messed up and confusing here, because there's a lot of people, including one reporter here, who I like. And I got this corroborated by someone else who also told me. A source with knowledge tells me that Chris Proudfoot passed his polygraph today with the TBI. And this was posted by Burton Staggs. He's a local blogger, reporter. He gets a lot of insight and intel, and he's respected in that community by a lot of people, right? I believe somebody told him that, and someone else validated that with me, that Chris Proudfoot, in fact, passed his TBI polygraph. Now, Seth took a Nancy Grace polygraph. Unclear if Seth took a TBI polygraph, and apparently Chris passed his TBI polygraph. Unclear if he took a Nancy Grace polygraph, though producers of Nancy Grace, as we know, were going to him, telling him to take a polygraph, name the time and the place. And then when they went up, you know, when time came that Chris was spinning them and said, I got to take it with the TBI first, then I'll get back to you. Well, apparently Chris Proudfoot took a polygraph, right, with the TBI.
And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I would do that too. If you're going to give me a lie detector, let TBI do it. Let TBI do it. I get it. I get why Chris would say that.
So will he take one with Nancy Grace? Now, here's what's interesting, folks. It's weird now because now we got Seth Rogers with an inconclusive polygraph.
You got to remember, if Chris takes one for Nancy, hopefully Nancy will ask him a lot of questions that maybe TBI didn't. I don't know.
And we got Chris Proudfoot that supposedly passed the polygraph. That's what's going to make this all more of the drama when it comes to the Sebastian Rogers case, because then the tables might start shifting. And because this case, it seems like it has taken a
JLR. If he knew that he was that freaking tired and he was on medication, why go take it to start with? Why not say, I'm hurt, I'm on medication, I'm totally exhausted. Can we not do this at a later time? Why would you not say that? I'm sorry, but I mean, Seth is supposed to be this intelligent guy that knows all about things that people need to do, you know, in law enforcement. I'm just saying.
Tribal aspect where people are clicking and choosing sides. Choose your sides when you come to this case. You either for the Proudfoots or Seth. And I guess there's some people in middle ground are waiting for certain info to come out, right? It's becoming tribal, and I'm part of the tribal, right? We on this channel has shared our belief that Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proud had something to do with.
Hurry to Kohl's for great prices.
And I can see why JLR believes that Katie and Chris probably have something to do with it. I get you, JLR. I get you. Oh, what a sad thing. So you got idiots coming out and talking about this guy saying he's got Sebastian Rogers, and he's just contacting this person that he doesn't even know to ask this person, hey, do you know this boy? And this person says, no, he's a missing child. And this stranger proceeds to tell another stranger that he has Sebastian in his home, and Sebastian doesn't want to go home. And it's like, dude, I would think that the people you would want to contact is law enforcement. Well, what a polygraph is used for is, you know, they use it to guide them on what questions they should be asking. They use it as an investigative tool, is what they use it for. So, all right, I'm at 2:48. I'm sorry, Teresa. I went longer than what I intended, as usual. But today is Friday, and to be honest with y'all, unless something comes up, yeah, I was gonna say, Teresa, I was gonna, I need to do a lot this weekend. So I don't know if I'll have a chance to come on. If I do, I'll tell you guys what, if I do get on, maybe if I get on tomorrow, I might be able to come on later in the evening, like around 7, 8 o'clock, maybe for an hour or something, have a little bit of fun and do it that way. All right, I was going to check out dang, Daisy's got 12,000 subs. Girl, Daisy, you doing good. You are doing good. I thought Dynamite might have a new short out. I don't think she does, though. I love this one, though. I will share this one with you guys. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Okay. I may have to play it twice because I can't find it. Okay. I let Dino put this out and I really like it. Okay, wait. Why isn't it? Okay, hang on. Dang it.
Punishment enough. If you don't feel that way about yourself, then you aren't providing enough value. You are my friend and you fuck me over, I'm not going to say a word about you. There's no revenge. There is a fucking benefit to being my friend. You don't get that benefit anymore. That is lost for you now. That's the punishment enough. If you don't feel that way about yourself, then you aren't providing enough value. You are my friend and you fuck me over, I'm not going to say a word about you. There's no revenge. There is a fucking benefit to being my friend. You don't get that benefit anymore. That is lost for you now. That's the punishment enough. If you don't feel that way about yourself, then you aren't providing enough value.
Thank you. Now, I always say, when sometimes I, have to kind of if you're not getting along with somebody, there's no reason to sit and talk about them. And this is the thing too. If sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes if you have a friend and they're talking about everybody under the sun, I mean, kind of don't think that person ain't talking about you too. Okay? That is a fact. That is a fact. Now, I'm not saying that every time somebody talks about somebody, they're talking bad about them. I'm just saying, you know, that's just the way it is. And you should have value in yourself. But I think sometimes people, oh, thank you, Hazel. I think that sometimes people look at value in, I think sometimes when people think of self-value, you know, they think about they kind of leave out what this guy is saying, right? I don't know if people even think about self-value when they're thinking about friends that they, you know, may have in life. To some people, it's totally different things, right? For real. But I think what he says is so freaking smart.
You were my friend and you fucked me over. I'm not going to say a word about you. There's no revenge. There is a fucking benefit to being my friend. You don't get that benefit anymore. That is lost for you now. That's the punishment enough. If you don't feel that way about yourself, then you aren't providing enough value. You were my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Dino. I really like that one. For real. I really did. It's one of my faves. It's one of my favorites. Okay, what we got going on here? I don't know. Let's see what Tia's talking about real quick. What you got to say, Tia, real quick? Girl.
Tia, I hope everybody's doing well on this Thursday. Looks like they wrapped up the Karen Reed jury selection for the week. They got 12 jurors picked already. They need to get 4 more to have a jury. So they're going to be starting again on Monday because it looks like they don't work on Fridays. Must be nice, huh? But yeah, they don't be picking jurors on Fridays. So they're going to start again on Monday, which I guess that means old Dolly, he going to be headed home if he ain't already there. Why he go during jury selection? Dolly, you know that's the most boring time of a trial. Come on now. So yeah, so that's what's going on over there. And then we still got the same old. Everybody just be, you know, we got these people on here be exploiting the Sebastian Rogers case. Always going to be talking either about his mama, Katie, and his stepdaddy, Chris, or they're going to be talking about his daddy, Seth. Because, you know, very few people can like all 3 of them and feel sorry for all 3 of them for what they're going through. Somebody got to be a villain in that situation so that, you know, they're going to pick one or the other, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so that's happening too. But listen here, other thing that's happening is something that happens on these streets all the time. And then it kind of goes down a little bit, lays low a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's happening again. Well, seem like what be happening is you got lots of creators fussing and fighting with others. And this one hurt this one's feelings, and that one told a secret that they said they wouldn't be telling. And this one, you know, went and told somebody something, and then they put it in a Discord, and then everybody in the Discord got to see it. Listen, I know
Yeah, are you talking about 26 different people's names and social security numbers, darling? That's just not nothing, girl. That's not nothing, Tia.
Talked about this before, but I guess we need to talk about this again. Whatever you're going to be telling somebody and whatever you're going to be putting in the Discord, you might as well already have yourself prepared for that information to either be told to somebody else or to be on YouTube, on these streets, in full view of everybody else to see. Because, see, that's what happens.
That is.
And so, you know, I know people have friends. Everybody got their little groups that they friends with and stuff, and that's great.
I got friends in Low places where the whiskey from and the beer chases my blues away, and I'll be okay. Well, I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis. All right, I'm getting my ass off here. Thank you for the update, Tia. We appreciate you, girl. We know what's going on these streets. We do. Some messed up stuff. And, I don't know. I may talk about it. Maybe that's what I'll talk about Saturday night if I come on for a little while. I don't know. But for now, class, your teacher is going to be touching the grass this evening and tomorrow and Sunday, as long as it don't rain. You had lunch with your husband? Girl, I bet you had lunch. You told us you was in a corner. You said you was in a corner. Okay? No, I don't think they're flying already. I think that last week, remember, it was snowy. I kind of wonder if they covered them. Because they're not gone already. You're special. Oh, you're going to be hiking in the rain and camping in it? Look, I love the rain. I sleep so good when it's storming outside. For real, I do. All right, my ass is getting off here. So, y'all do you. Please go out and touch the grass, even if you listen to some of your favorite creators, okay? Be touching the grass while you do it. Actually, I got to set my phone up. It's separate. I have my phone and my StreamYard and everything separate. And I'm going to, put them together. That way I can carry you guys around outside with me. Okay? For real. But for right now, I'm going to go make Todd some coffee so he'll have a hot cup of coffee when he gets home. And give my old puppy dog some more lovin's. For real. So thank you guys so much. And do remember, okay? Do remember that you are worth something. Okay? We're all worth a little bit of something. And if you're in another chat and you give your opinion on something and they block you, you might want to think about that. Okay? I'm just saying, give it a good thunking. Okay? Thunk about it real hard. All right, peace out, everybody.